Second semester begins. Chapter 33. Luke. One more semester of high school and I graduate. It's really hard to believe. I remember one time in 9th grade when Mrs. Burkhead had sent me to Mr. Caldwell's office for like the 10th time, and I told him I couldn't stand going to school anymore. I'd had enough and was going to drop out. But Caldwell said, "High school will be over before you know it. Hang in there." I guess he was right. I'm still here, and that hag Burkhead left or quit or whatever after my freshman year. I'm actually enjoying some of my classes. In U.S. government, Mr. Martin gave out oral presentation topics the other day for us to work on in our two-person teams. Marcus and I drew one on the most poorly decided cases in Supreme Court history. We're going to research Dred Scott, which held that blacks, whether slaves or free, could never be considered citizens. Also, Korematsu, which said that it was okay to put Japanese Americans in concentration camps during World War II, and Plessy versus Ferguson, which basically said that Jim Crow laws were fine and dandy. No wonder Marcus wants to be a college professor or historian. This stuff is actually interesting. It's so much better researching stuff on our own than some boring teacher ramming it down our throats in a never-ending period-long lecture. In English 12 Honors, we've been reading 1984. I had read it before in the book club that Mia and I used to have. The book is all about this world where a Joseph Stalin-type leader runs everything. The book is just as terrifying, just as upsetting to read for a second time as it was the first time. The most chilling quote is this: "If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever." Talk about a dystopia. Page after page has that tone, and it's almost unbearable to keep reading about this horrible world from the future. Who knows? If Hitler hadn't broken his peace deal with Stalin, the world could have ended up like the one in 1984. Statistics in Spanish 3 have sort of settled into this D rhythm. I'm not ever going to understand math, and I'm not ever going to be able to pronounce a whole lot of those Spanish words correctly. And the teachers seem to now understand that. They seem content to just give me a D and move on, and just shove me up on the stage at graduation. After all, what else could they do with students as dumb as me? It must be depressing for someone who is really good at math or Spanish to be teaching a class with somebody like me in it. Over Christmas break, Ellie came over to my house 5 or 6 times that night while her parents were gone to the beach. We also hung out in the day some, hiking up into the mountains or driving somewhere out of the county and having a picnic or something. It was cold during a lot of those things, but I didn't care, and she said she didn't mind. It's weird, but out of all those things, you know what I enjoyed doing the most with her? Us fixing dinner and sitting down at the table and eating together, and then washing dishes after we were through eating. We've been dating 3 months now, and it doesn't seem like dating anymore. It just seems like she's supposed to be a part of my life, and like she's always been there and always will be. In high school, the only girls that I've dated that I've ever felt close to were Ellie and Mia. They were the only ones I ever really looked forward to being around. Ellie makes me feel not lonely. It makes this house feel like a home. I know you could say that maybe I feel that way because I'm lonely since Granddaddy died, and that I just like someone for company at the house. But that's not the way it is. I know what real loneliness is like. It's like when I was a 10th grader and Mom had died, and it was just me and Dad at the house, and he was drinking hard and was foul and abusive. School was awful. I was being bullied, and I had nobody to talk to at night except Mia. I'd call her late at night when Dad was at work and tell her what I was going through that particular day. She'd always make me feel better after I talked to her for a little while. That's real loneliness, living in a house with only one other person, like my father, and he wishes you weren't there. You don't want to be around him either, and you're scared of him, and thinking of him makes it hard to breathe. Since Granddaddy died, I don't mind being alone in the house. I'm not lonely, and it's because of Ellie, because I know I have her to lean on. When Ellie comes home, There's like this energy in the house, and it's not a house anymore, but a home. I think she feels it too. At least, I hope so. It's just that everything changes when she comes in the door. It's amazing. We've got so much to talk about as soon as she comes in. We might just have seen each other the day before or the afternoon before in yearbook, but all these things have happened in the meantime, and none of them are really all that important. But we want to talk about them and share what our day's been like. It's just great, and it feels so good to talk to her. It's the same way when we go somewhere. At first, I was afraid that she would mind going to do outdoor stuff with me because she's never been an outdoorsy girl. I finally got up the nerve to ask her if she minded us doing all these outside things. She said she was afraid at first, that she wouldn't like going hiking or biking somewhere all the time. But then she realized she was really enjoying herself, and it wasn't because she was such a big fan of the outdoors. It was because I was there with her, and she was getting to know me better and better. Then she said, "And I've really enjoyed doing that, Luke. You said that I've been good for you, but you have no idea how good you've been for me." I swear, it was one of the nicest things a girl has ever said to me. Maybe the nicest thing.